I've been good, you know. I mean, I checked out when he got elected because everything just went fucking crazy, and we had headspace for like 8 years to just say whatever we want, and nobody gave a shit. And then all of a sudden, every value judgment, every opinion became a fucking crusade, and you know, people that I respected and gravitated toward for their opinion on art suddenly started spending all their time talking about politics, which it's just a weird age gap, man. If you didn't have any memory of Ronald Reagan, and I mean, I had like a childish memory of Ronald Reagan, but even then, it's like you don't remember what it's like when you're not winning. You're not always winning. You don't get to control the dialogue. And when someone else starts to, you know, own, you know, national fabric of dialogue, it fucks up art. The problem now is, well, not a problem, but the difference now rather is that we have the internet, so everybody has a platform. Nobody had a platform during Reagan. You know, nobody heard the Minutemen. Nobody heard Sonic Youth and those isolated, kind of overeducated, you know, parts of the country. They existed in isolation, and that doesn't happen anymore. So it's super fucked up. Is it worse that Donald Trump is president, or is it worse that a record company gives XXX $7 million in a development deal and he gets fucking murdered in a BMW i8 that he got to buy because of that development deal? Is that okay? Like, I feel like that's not okay that they gave that kid money and made him a fucking target. So yeah, there's a lot of weird shit. And I, you know, being older, oldish, midlife, whatever, I have a really different perspective on it. The problem is most people my age have stopped giving a shit long ago. And so you're not getting that perspective. You're getting the hectoring mania of people your age, which isn't invalid in any way, but it's too loud. There's no volume from someone my age getting through to you, and it just fucks things up. And the volume you do get from people my age is people my age who are still trying to be fucking relevant and like lock in with fucking pop culture, which is a joke. To me, pop culture is me watching what my kids do. It's not what I did 10, you know, fucking years ago. Anyway.
Do you feel like all this has affected a lot of the music writing we're seeing now from like a lot of these websites, where a lot of it, you know, you look at a lot of like these articles and it's not really about the music, it's more so about like, you know, some sort of socio-political angle to it. Do you feel like that's kind of hurt or like improved, or just it is just what it is?
No, it's, I mean, face on, it is what it is. Face on, it's what it is. It's what that age group wants to talk about. Mm-hmm. What concerns me is the lack of differentiation. Like, you got to know who is saying what they're saying and where they come from, because there's a luxury to egalitarianism. There's a luxury to spending your time and your effort, you know, co-signing shit. A lot of people can't do that. And basically what we've seen is a real concentration of wealthy people who can afford to have these opinions, shouting these opinions and being amplified. And you've seen that in the, you know, in the transition from, like, you know, look, I don't know when it was recently, Pitchfork put up an 80s list.
Right.
And the lead on that list was like, we're not the same magazine we once were. We want to reappraise the 1980s.
Right.
But the people who wrote the list were fucking 9, you know, at best, in 1987.
One of them wasn't even born yet. I know one of the writers.
Yeah, no, it's just
He's my age.
This is what drives me crazy, because, like, you got to deal with art as art.
Yeah.
Don't start reassigning your politics to the past. It's the laziest thing you can do intellectually. and it sucks. But that, if that sort of behavior gets attention, it's going to get popped up on social media. But social media, as you know, as everyone knows, is totally infected by false amplification and bots and bullshit. So look, like, at the start, I'll just say, like, years and years and years ago, I was involved in a site that was legitimately totally independent. Mm-hmm. Some of the people who, started and ran Pitchfork didn't give a shit about politics. They just thought about cool or good music or whatever. And for about 6 years, I was around there until it got, attention. And it got attention because it was speaking truth. Truth is often wrong. That's the thing people don't get.
Right. Wait, what do you mean by that?
When you're speaking your truth, people recognize it, right? But you're often dumb as shit.
All right.
And most of us were, because we were like fucking 23, right? But it resonated with people because it was honest. Even people who thought we were totally fucking stupid or offensive or, ignorant.
Right.
They still, reacted to it, and that's what blew it up. And then the problem happens, and it's not new. This happened in Spin. It happened in every publication. Rolling Stone back when. You're a voice for truth. Truth is not about correctness. It's about honesty. So yeah, they got bought out, and I blew them up and made them delete all my shit. And now
that was your decision.
You're seeing that everyone who made the decision to buy Pitchfork has been fucking fired, and it's all over. I mean, I had a podcast with Anthony Fantano 3 years ago when the sale happened.
Yeah.
Which he had to edit out a lot of like really emotional shit that I was saying, because it was the end of an era, and that was obvious to me then, but it's only now obvious in terms of the outcome 3 years later, in 2018, when, the head of their digital division was fired 2 weeks ago. They've laid off something like 100 people in sales and pub. And now next week they're going to lay off another 50 people in edit, like Garen fucking Teed. Like, watch Twitter next week. So many fucking people are going to be laid off from Condé Nast. It's going to be ridiculous.
Was the decision to take down your reviews, that was your decision? Because I was reading the Gawker article. I read that Gawker article about...
I sued them. I sued them.
Okay.
Yeah, I sued Pitchfork.
Wait, for what? If I can ask, I don't want to,
There's nothing to worry about. There was never a case. They folded totally and deleted all my shit. I told them, I said, if you continue to publish my digital works without a contract after the transfer of the domain name pitchfork.com to Condé Nast, you are going to get Digital Millennium copyright acted out the fucking ass. I'm going to burn you to the ground. 2 days after I tweeted that at Chris Kasky and Ryan Schreiber, everything I ever published at Pitchfork was deleted. But yeah, no, they did that, for emotional reasons, not legal reasons.
Okay.
I have multiple emails and letters from their lawyers. Like, it's a fucking fact.
Turn it back a little bit, if I may. Like, how did you, find Pitchfork at first? I don't want to, dwell on it, a whole lot. But, how did you, find it, in the first place?
Well, we were all doing our own shit. We all had our own websites. In 1990, I was in college in the mid-90s, and I had internet access, before probably 99% of the fucking world. And we were all doing our own shit, learning HTML just to get our face out there. Because we were coming from zine culture, so there were a million digital zines, that nobody gave a shit about or whatever. And Pitchfork was one, and, some of the early writers at Pitchfork all had their own sites, and, there's a litany of these things that nobody's ever going to care about again. But there were probably 15 sites that were getting real traction. And it was just kind of you're amplifying yourselves to yourselves, right? The only people that are reading this shit are media people and music dorks and zine writers and whatever.
Yeah.
And we gradually started all getting digital, and it just all kind of blew up in a weird way. I mean, I had my own site. People had their own sites. What really, how do I put this? I'd say OK Computer changed everything.
Right.
Because the websites were freaking out about this, and mainstream publications like Spin, Rolling Stone, whatever, didn't give a shit about it. They're like, oh, that was the band that had Creep. And And it's funny when you go back, like, these sad stories from fucking dickheads that worked at these fucking magazines trying to pretend that they were, like, you know, competing with Pitchfork. They were getting fucking totally bowled over by us. We ran the fucking world by about 2003. And they were all pretending that, you know, they were doing good. They weren't doing shit. Nobody read. They didn't even have websites. Like, it's so embarrassing. And the reason I say that is because I was recently reminded of it by this book, Meet Me in the Bathroom.
Connor, who's who's our feature editor, did a whole interview with that writer for that, actually.
Lizzie Goodman?
Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't at any of those shows. She was a fucking nobody.
Wait, wait, really?
Yeah, no. Her and Sarah Lewitton were just scenester flakes. It's just bullshit. It's fucking disgusting that pitch got picked up.
Damn.
Wait, are you really?
The reality of all of those times was, like, you know, rich kids in fucking warehouse spaces on Kent Ave that later became fucking 285 Kent. But it was all rich liberal arts kids, you know, moving out to Williamsburg and shit, because the Lower East Side was too fucking crazy for them because they were, like, freshmen. Sorry, they just graduated, and so they moved to New York in 1997, and, like, Alphabet City was still really fucked up then, and so was Yonkers, and so was really, honestly, Williamsburg was, like, Greenpoint was like a fucking Polish mob. Like, it was fucking really sketchy as shit. Like, you couldn't go outside at night. In the late 90s, anyway. But, yeah, that book is so fucking sad. It's just like scenester flakes that went to a couple of parties getting interviews. It's just gets, you know? And the only real good gets in that book is James Murphy and Tim and the whole story of DFA and Moax and Uncle, which was legit fucking crazy because there was real money going around on all of them. But, like, Interpol, fucking rich kids, Strokes, rich kids, just, it's all bullshit, you know? They all just were doing fucking bad, shitty coke together, and now they want to romanticize that. It's like, wow, you had a real struggle to fucking dick around all fucking day for fucking 4 years, you know? Because you're rich.
Right.
And do drugs at the dark room, man, and we were at fucking 7A with David Cross, dude. Like, it's just sad, embarrassing, pathetic people who are only too happy to tell you because you've decided that their past was somehow this hagiographic, you know, raw thing. It's like, no, it's all that shit, all that scene shit, Union Pool, piano, all that fucking shit happened because you were rich and you could afford to dick around your entire life. And I couldn't. I had a fucking job. I've always had a job. Relatable. I didn't make my money on fucking Pitchfork. I did that shit at fucking 1 a.m.
Oh, right. So it's basically just, like, super rich kids just kind of, like, romanticizing, like, kind of...
Every fucking rock history you've ever heard is rich kids trying to make themselves legitimate. That's it. I'm talking fucking Lou Reed, David Bowie. All of these stories are exactly the fucking same. If you want to read something that opens your eyes, go get the book Black Vinyl, White Powder by Simon Napier Bell. Mm-hmm. He managed the Yardbirds. He made Wham happen in the 80s.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the stories are never fucking change. It's the same shit forever. But you just have to be 20 years older than you are, which I am. And by then, you know, it's the same fucking shit over and over again. Rich kids dicking around.
Joe had a good tweet, a good quote I remember. It was like, if your parents pay your rent, it should be in your Twitter bio.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And I've made various comments to that effect of all the fucking rich kids that, you know, live on the L. NYU fucking sophomores.
Yeah, same shit even now in Brooklyn with just...
It never ends.
Yes, exactly.
The four horsemen
it was the same
of
in London in the 60s. It's just all rich kids dicking around and being told they're fabulous and telling themselves they're fabulous. It's just, you know, there's nothing wrong with this. Like, the music that comes out of it is oftentimes fucking historic and beautiful. And I still listen to the fucking Strokes. I still listen to fucking... I still love Angles. Like, I mean, I still think that's the most unsung record ever. And I know it was made by people with advantages I never could have had. Which is... For me to go off about this is hilarious because I grew up in a fucking 1%er, 99.9% white, insanely wealthy suburb my whole life. But the reason I have this attitude and this aspect is my parents are from fucking Indiana in the sticks. My dad busted his fucking ass and got out here and it's just happenstance. So I just happened to end up with an upbringing that was like, yeah, no, this is all bullshit. Like, these people always had money. Do you get it? Do you understand that?
Yeah.
And so from a young age, I was always, like, impressed upon by my parents that, like, that's not you. You didn't come from this. This isn't real. And so that antagonism is the thing I've had. But it's fucked because there's other people, I'm not going to name names, that come from similar backgrounds who felt the same way but never said shit and just went along with the fucking party. I never went along with the party. That's my whole thing. It's always been my problem. Like, I could have moved out to LA and, you know, I got friends of mine right now that are like, you know, late 30s, early 40s. They're moving out to LA to try to become fucking music supervisors after writing for like Spin, Rolling Stone, whatever.
Oh my God.
Because they're just fucked. They're just chasing whatever money they can get. But my whole thing has always been like, back the fuck up. Are you doing a real job? Because I always have been. I never mistook, you know, my desire for creativity with value. That has no value. My opinion is my opinion. And the guy that just to wrap it up, and I'm sorry I'm rambling, but
no, this is good, please.
The guy I've always hung my hat on is fucking Jason DeMarco, the guy who runs Adult Swim. He grew up, you know, down the fucking road from me. We never knew each other. And it was funny when we found that out later when we hooked up. But that fucking guy has worked a job in a company in a real way. Mm-hmm. And he's produced value for that company and developed projects and stuff. And that's what you do has to fucking have value. And there's very, very few people who've done it. And just to finish it up, you know, I know I DM'd you about Jeff Weiss and the whole LA Weekly bullshit.
Yeah, Passion Weiss and all that.
This is someone else who just like is doing the work. He's not obviously, you know, swimming in the circles that Jason or Adult Swim is, but you don't. It's not about the money or the level. It's about
the love and the passion.
Yeah, and it's also about the integrity, and that's the integrity happens at all across scale, and you can have integrity and do things you can be proud of and make X amount of money, and then you can make bajillions amount of money, but you still have the integrity. So anyway,
the four horsemen of the apocalypse are NYU, Vassar, Sarah Lawrence, and Bard. But that being said,
wait, Vassar? I thought it was Vassar.
Is it? Oh, is it Vassar?
Yeah, it's Vassar.
Oh, I don't know.
Sorry, unfortunately, I saw Luna and Yola Tango at Vassar in '96. That's how the pronunciation I lived with. But yeah, Bard is, oh god. And you know, Bowdoin and all the Haverford, all these fucking schools where you have a mahogany fucking desk in
the
your
new
dorm
school.
room. Your parents pay fucking $70,000 a semester for you to go there and jerk off. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. But you know, and also, what's the fucking other one? God damn, I can't remember the design school. The
Parsons.
Shit. Yeah, Parsons. You know how many fucking Parsons people I dealt with at fucking People magazine? Holy shit. Every fucking fourth person was like, yeah, I went to Parsons. Oh, well, I guess that's why your fucking resume got slid under the fucking table to fucking Isolde Motley.
I can relate to this because I go to FIT, so...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
FIT was like a fucking advertisement school. It was like a fake. It was like ITT Tech. Like FIT was like, oh, you're a liberal arts person, you can buy your degree.
Oh, yeah.
FIT. Yeah, but now I mean it's all different.
Yeah.
Whatever. The fact that people even know what FIT means makes it legitimate versus like, you know, University of Phoenix or whatever.
Fungal infection and technicians, but no, but
nice.
Thank you. I try, but satire editor. But do you feel like there's any what are some of the places you feel like embodies a lot of the integrity and kind of, you know, genuinity that you're kind of talking about? Just passion wise, like what are some of these, like, are there any publications or places that are like really doing that?
People try usually for a while. The singles jukebox. Look, I mean, please don't try to expand this, but no, you know, okay. The Pelly twins tried with Fuck the Media because they're young and they're pissed and they want to be loud, and you know, fine. I don't agree with a lot of the things they said or the things they did, but they had a drive. So many shrimp, Twitter people, people try, but life is a brick wall, and you're going to hit that fucking brick wall every time. And every time they hit it, they sell out. They all do. And they wrap themselves in rhetoric. They wrap themselves in the rhetoric of justice is a bad word because of the, if you say SJW, you're a Trump supporter. I'm not trying to minimize the pathos or the feelings these people have. They're legitimate, fine, I get it. But it just becomes this big spiral of realizing that you're never going to win. You're not going to win in the way you want to win. It's not going to fucking happen. And you can try and go in and tell yourself you have your eyes open and you're going to do your best and you're going to change it from the inside, and you're not. And if nothing else, if you didn't have all of that, naive optimism crushed by the election of Donald Trump, what the fuck does it take? It's not going to happen. You're not going to change the world. It's not going to fucking happen. The Beatles couldn't even fucking change the world. So I'm not saying you got to stay in your lane or any of that bullshit or it's not worth it. Sure, it's worth it. Rhetoric is worth it. Dialogue is worth it. But don't fucking sacrifice your life, your sanity, your peace of mind, your fucking – you got to separate this shit. The only thing that matters is your vote. That's it. You get to vote, go vote. Don't spend your fucking 9 hours a day railing against tweets that upset you. Don't you're making your life a campaign against racists or whatever on Twitter. Holy shit, could you be fucking wasting your time anymore? You're inside a platform that's owned by someone else. You're literally in a fucking vacuum. Nothing you say will ever really matter except to advertisers. And I can't believe there's fucking people in their late 30s who still haven't gotten this. It drives me nuts, man. And it just, none of it mattered when Obama was in. You could just dick around, tweet bullshit, be fucking, obnoxious. Yeah. Say nasty shit. Nobody really cared because, it's all fine. He's drunk or he's being a fucking wise ass. He's trying to put on some fucking airs, whatever. But, when Trump is in the White House, all that shit ends. It just ends. When you combine it, like I said at the top, when you combine it with social media, fuck, man. Get Out. Straight up. That movie. Get Out.
Do you feel
that's a joke, an Eddie Murphy joke, right?
From which special is that? Is that from Raw or Delirious?
Yeah, I think it's from Raw when he's like, I saw that movie, Amityville Horror. It's like, get out. He's making a joke about how a black person would respond to a ghost, right?
Yeah.
That's literally what just happened. That movie is titled that because of that joke, because that's the reality.
I didn't know that.
Well-educated. I don't even know if Jordan Peele Key and Peele were well-educated. I don't know that, but I'm assuming they were because they're fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
But their point was you can be brilliant and successful and fucking make $1 bajillion out of your comedy routine, but you're still get out when it deals with this insane, entrenched, legastic, multi-generational white, rule, control over finance, laws, all of it. It's fucked up. Yeah. So yeah, that's that stuff. I'm not doing that. I'm not fighting that fight. I got kids. I got reality. I'm not the guy. I'm not doing that. And even if I did, I'm going to fix it? No. It sucked in a way. Because I want to put out, my feelings about this stuff, but at the same time, I'm you're just fucking diving into a fucking pool of lava. They're going to kill you. They're going to find something, anything to kill you. And So, yeah, it was a weird thing. It was really weird. Like the first point in my life when I had that, when I quit Pitchfork, it was super easy to become the enemy of Pitchfork.
Right.
And that was like my little character for years and years. And it was so, because Obama's in and we all get to do our stuff. And then this generation comes up that has never had, I mean, I guess they have some memory of GWB or whatever, but GWB really wasn't that bad. He wasn't psychotic. He wasn't like shutting down, the media.
Right.
He wasn't like capital FN, like this German history of capitalizing things to make people remember them. Like the whole like basic Freudian name calling, bullying shit of Trump is so fucking terrifying. Like, I'm not going to judge that. I don't want to sit around and tell people they're overreacting. I just got to go. So, yeah, I did an interview with Moo about it.
Yeah.
That's the only other real thing I'd done since I did the podcast, because I thought that would be a good, kind of neutral way to still do content, but it just got so toxic on all sides, and it still is.
How so do you think, in that sense, when you were doing content on Moo, like, how did it?
It was fucked. We did we talked for like 3 hours.
Yeah. I think I heard some of that interview.
Like one of the guys I'm talking to is African American, but is also like, he's super open to, all sides of that dialogue. And things like what I mentioned about XXX getting this deal and just how fucking racist and fucked up it is that, like, you're going to pay someone who's legitimately black a shitload of money to be legitimately black. Like, what the fuck? Like, this definition, face tattoos and fucking... The whole thing was just so fucking creepy. And nobody seemed to get it in those terms. And they cut that stuff out because, I don't know, whatever. They cut it out. Fine. Wasn't where they wanted to go. There wasn't anything particularly, dangerous or whatever in our conversation, but it's not necessary. Like, why go there? You don't need to. But for me, like, when you look at, like, Fetty Wap into Post Malone, that's Vanilla Ice. I don't give a shit if you think Post Malone is legit and that he opened for Fetty Wap and did his one song 5 times a night because it's all he had. Okay, fine. But the fact is, that is the same fucking thing as Vanilla Ice for someone who grew up with that. It's the fucking whitewashing of a cultural expression of desperation. It's just finding the white X. It's fucked. It's always been that way. The Rolling Stones are the white X. The fucking, it's like, it's not new. But the reactions with the, improvement in media and instant communication and everything make that so much more face on. And it becomes much more dangerous and difficult for you to navigate it, to interpret it and to navigate it. And it just, and not just the race thing, the youth. Like, he's a fucking child, and you give him enough money to buy a BMW i8 and he's going to drive it in the same fucking neighborhood he grew up in where people are getting fucking shot. That's so fucking irresponsible.
We done a little peep on his kind of act, and a lot of people were calling him like the new Kurt Cobain and everything. Do you feel like that's kind of a similar thing?
I think Lil Peep is the Eminem that didn't kill himself. I mean, Eminem tried to kill himself. This again, talk about never-ending dialogues. Eminem was shouted at from day one as the white co-option of the whole 90s of gangsta rap. And Snoop and Dre and NWA and Ice Cube and fucking Death Certificate especially. Like, fuck. But the thing with Eminem was, it was just like, he's fucking, like, if this is about music, right? Like, if you're talking about music as an art form and this drummer comes up who's like fucking amazing. You can't deny that he's amazing because there is a technical aspect, and Eminem was technically fucking astounding.
Yeah.
The black people in hip-hop artists co-signed him because it was like, the guy's legitimately excellent. If this is a form of music, he is legitimately excellent at it. But then it just got totally fucking insane. The guy sold more records than anyone between 2000 and 2010. Mm-hmm. No other artist sold more records or made more money than Eminem. And Prince is dead. Like, what the fuck? It's so hard to fucking wrap your head around all the things that have been going on. But yeah, Lil Peep, very similar to me to XXX. It's just you don't have the long view in your management. You don't have the management to be like, look, here's what's going on. Just don't, blah, blah, blah. Space it out. We're going to work it out, blah, blah, blah. And this internet, social media, Instagram, YouTube, all this shit, whatever, fucking Twitch even, like, forget music, like just general celebrity is fast forwarded so fucking quickly that these kids are just, they can't even fucking see their way out of it. And that's why they end up believing in this illusion of celebrity that the illusion of celebrity that's provided by social media, which is totally false, is so fucking dangerous. It's so much more dangerous than anything we've had in celebrity culture in the past, Do
you see it as ending potentially, or is it going to keep getting worse and worse before it gets better?
Well, I think it'll become so comical in like a fucking Osmonds, like, who Donny Osmond is, but like, but that was the variety show in the 70s. That was the equivalent of what we're dealing with now, which is like instant celebrity.
Variety show of SoundCloud rappers.
Yeah, SoundCloud rapper. That's exactly right. Like, well, isn't it sort of over now? SoundCloud rap is.
We're in post.
It's a good blanket term. Post.
Wow, great! You have 32 measure hi hats in your song. I've never heard that before. Fucking, CFCF was doing that shit on Night Bus mixes fucking 7 years ago, and you guys are fucking, making millions of dollars in development deals. Like, there's just, but the obverse of that is that these labels and these 360 media companies, there's nothing even good out there. That's why they're throwing money at anyone who can hit. Mm-hmm. When you think about Better Now, like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
That, like, so the equivalent of something like Better Now when I was growing up was like Queensryche, Silent Lucidity, like fucking like huge, awful, like gold and blue videos of like fucking 38-year-old white dudes with 3-foot long hair. Like, I'm silent next to you. Like, that's fucking Better Now. And there's nothing on that fucking track. That track is like a fucking culmination of the last 3-4 years of like bad SoundCloud bullshit.
It's very simple lyrics. It's like,
but it's fucking good. You can't get that fucking song out of your head.
It's catchy. I'll say that.
I hear Better Now, and when he does the fucking push in his voice, and he gets that rasp in on that second iteration, I'm just like, this is literally. It's the simplest MC Hammer pop bullshit ever. But you know what? It's working. Fuck it.
Psycho's like that too. It's like, whoa.
That whole
it's just catchy.
That
like
fake, that fake waver that they get out of the stereo syncopation to get the blood. That's all fake. They don't.
Of course.
Logic, man. Plug that shit in.
Logic? God, the rapper or the software?
The software.
Oh, God, I was like, wait a minute. Let's not get into Logic.
That's the reason that SoundCloud, quote-unquote, rap is blown up, because it's so easy to reproduce, right?
Yeah, that is true,
like
actually.
A sound, and you can make it on your fucking Logic plugins in 10 seconds, who knows, man?
Do you know about the Harambe mixtape?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Anyone can, at one point, he literally stops rapping and just goes, rah, 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 rah. Like, literally. It's like, what? You're not even rapping lyrics.
This is one of the things that's been killing me. Since I dropped out of social media and all this shit because of all these various reasons, right?
Yeah.
It coincided with the realization that, like, Vine was gone.
Yeah.
And all the YouTube Vine compilations.
Oh.
And my kids watch those. Like, my kids, if you type the letter N into my kid's phone, nice Vines that I can watch my grandparents comes up. Because Vine was gone before my kids even had access to the internet. But Vine compilations is all they watch. These kids walk around school. They're 12 years old and they go, yeet! Like, they don't... dude, every fucking 6-7 second Vine is burned in their memory. What the fuck is up, Kyle? Step the fuck up. Like, they know every word. And I've watched them all. And I think they're hilarious too. Like, I'm fucking 40 plus years old. And, like, Vine tapped into something that was just, like, legit new. Like, your attention span, short-term comedy, like, what the fuck, Richard? All that shit, like, it's fucking gold. It's short-term, like, snap, 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 gold, 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 all
It's
the time.
the best ADD content.
It really is.
So go back to me, right? In early 2000s, when all the Italo disco compilations are coming out and everyone's re-indexing history, you're getting this fucking 18-track CD that has all the best fucking Italo disco, krautrock, whatever. Like, this, it's the same thing. Just shave all the crap out and give me the good shit, you know? Give me fucking Chloe Laugh My Ass Off and, you know, all these fucking Vine stars.
Is that a weed? I'm calling the cops.
420. No, it's a chip reader. That won't work. Like, no, that shit's fucking... That's what... It resonates with people. It's real, you know? Fuck that shit, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, the kid jumps in the trash can, all that shit. All these great Vines, like... And... music is sort of like, that's another thing where I look at it and I'm like, music is not doing that. It's the stuff that's been big the last 3 years is iHeartRadio FM radio shit.
Yeah.
This shit's not on SoundCloud. Pitchfork's not reviewing this shit, but it's fucking huge. And the culmination of that was this review of fucking Greta Van Fleet.
Oh, that review was hilarious. Jeremy Larson, yeah.
Yeah, so I tweeted him. I was like, yeah, tune in next Sunday for Jeremy Larson's savage review of the Escape Club's Dollars and Sex. Like, dude, can you pick a fucking safer target to slam? Like, wow, that's so brave. You fucked them up, man. Wow. Like, give fucking Frankie Cosmos a 1.6. Give fucking Mitski a 1.6. These are fucking insanely rich, spoiled fucking brats who have connections you couldn't even imagine, but no one will talk about it. Why? Because they pay to play. They're all friends. It's fucking ridiculous how, like, gross. But, you know, it's over now because they're owned by Condé Nast. So that whole run-up before Condé bought them, when they got to promote all of, you know, their friends' bands and fucking Speedy Ortiz and all this bullshit, that's all over. They can't do that anymore. Because Condé is like real-world advertising.
Yeah, PR and shit.
Yeah, so it's not like, you know, tell all your friends and fucking Terror Bird and whatever is pinging you and your buddies to hype their shit. Like, oh, check out fucking double whammy. Oh, turns out that's paid for by Frankie Cosmos. Okay. Like, that shit's all dying out. You can't, like, nakedly buy your way in anymore. Now you got to network your way in.
Is that
and you've seen that in the coverage on Pitchfork, for sure.
Is that better or, like, worse? You were just like...
I think it's better because it leaves room for Passion of the Weiss. It leaves room for new voices to come in and be like, yeah, that's all fucking bullshit. That's control fucking crap. And this is what's really going on. These are the good artists you're not hearing about. I mean, JPEG Mafia and Anthony Fantano's intersect is sort of a nice pivot for that. Where Anthony was like, I'm going to go fucking stick a mic in this guy's face because he is on. And... that's what you need. Anthony, look, I'm not a hype man for Anthony Fantano, but, like, he's turned down shit you cannot fucking believe.
No word.
I can imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got responsibilities you cannot believe in his life, and he has faced Netflix, like insane shit. He's been offered, and I haven't talked to him in a little while, but it takes a lot to fucking know who you are and say, yeah, you can throw me a bunch of money, but you're gonna fucking cancel it in 3 months when it doesn't do the numbers you needed to when you spent that money on me.
Yeah, why bother?
Yeah, why give the rights to it and everything for if you're gonna be tossed away later? It's like in Sorry to Bother You, where yo, you're not coworkers, you're family, and then meanwhile they they don't give them any benefits anything like that. It's kind of like that, but with the content.
That's what happened in Pitchfork this week. They spent all this money to buy Pitchfork, and a corporation looks at that investment and they say, well, Fred, you told us Pitchfork was a gold mine. It's been 3 years. It hasn't made a fucking dime. You're gone. So Fred Santamarpia got walked the fuck out, and they're firing shitloads of people to recoup basically a massive overinvestment in something that was already failing. Mm-hmm. I mean, any of us, we knew Pitchfork was dying in 2014. After 2013, Odd Future, Elite Gymnastics, Grimes, that was the peak. That was it.
That was peak Pitchfork?
That was peak internet. Not just, but generally, Pitchfork tended to kind of own it. They did great by that. And I think they did well with it. The people who were running the site, between black metal, Brandon Stossuy's Saint Vitus, bullshit with terrifying, scary metal music that's so intimidating, and then Grimes and Elite Gymnastics and all that shit. That was it. Odd Future, you knew Odd Future. Pitchfork blowing up Odd Future freaked people out so bad that MTV sent someone on a bus with them. Remember that?
Yeah. I do. Oh yeah, I do remember that actually.
And it was holy shit! This is watching Madonna in 1983. This is watching Nirvana in 1989. When they went on the bus with Odd Future after it was undeniable that this was a thing, but nobody really made any money out of it because you can't make any money at music. And that's, all through that. The through line for me was Jason at Adult Swim all along while that was happening.
Yeah.
I did a couple of podcasts with him, and, none of the music stuff is in those podcasts, but what we talked about privately was, what we talked about privately was you're doing Adult Swim and it's a total fucking money loser. And he's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. It matters to me. And I'll make that money up somewhere else. I'll make it up on fucking Adventure Time or Fully Cooley.
Yeah, I mean, he listened to all he says he listens to as many just general music submissions from his regular people as he can. I mean, it's clearly someone I feel really just likes the craft and just tries to apply that to this very corporate job at Adult Swim.
And that's what you should do.
Right.
What you should not do is fucking be Bandcamp and sell yourself out to a venture capital company who thinks that you're going to fucking pivot and dump the whole fucking company for $25 million and then realize no one is fucking interested in buying Bandcamp and just check the fuck out.
What do you see happen?
Bandcamp got taken over 4 years ago by venture capital, and they haven't done dick since. But then they made this big fucking hype about how they're donating, fucking 10% of all purchases to some fucking justice cause. I mean, they don't make any money to donate in the first place. When you see some company telling you that they're going to donate money to a righteous cause, they're doing that because they don't make any fucking money in the first place. It's a cost-free advertisement for political correctness. It's bullshit.
What do you see happening to Bandcamp in the future as a result? Both the website and the... Are you talking about Bandcamp as an entity or just a website?
No, an entity, the whole thing. Bandcamp fucked up, so they tried to become a rapper, like Christmas rapping. They tried to become a rapper around music delivery, which is the dumbest fucking thing you could ever do.
How so?
Someone out there is going to make an app that they can sell to a record label that will become a catalog app for their record label.
Okay.
And that'll be it. It'll be over. I was going to do it, but I just don't have the time.
Right. We talk about these things like Bandcamp and a lot of these sites on a corporate level having a lot of, like venture capital money, and there's a lot of, bullshit around it. Do you feel like there's any value to them in terms of the content, at least, though? Like the actual content that they're putting out, the art, whether it be the writing or these, little mini docs or whatever.
Oh, that was funny. When they first bought Bandcamp, they made this big push. They were going to become a Pitchfork competitor, an editorial gateway, and Jess Skolnick was going to be, they were going to. Oh my God, it was so embarrassing. And they got what's his name, Keys. What's that kid's name? Joe Keys or something. Anyway,
Josh Keys.
Yeah. No, it's all over. I mean, there was a window probably 3 years ago where a lot of people thought that they were going to make an entree into the attention value of music delivery. But they've all realized, it's over. It's Apple Music and it's Spotify, and one or the other is going to fuck it up so bad that, subscription numbers will pivot one way or the other. Look, if media becomes information, there can only be so many ways you disseminate it. If you start getting copyrightist about it, which is what we see now with Disney, declaring they're going to pull out of everything and make their own content and delivery app and network. You have cloud data providers like Amazon and every Google and whoever, and you put your content up there, and then you charge a subscription rate to get access to it. The app is really nothing. It's a fucking click. The app doesn't do anything. All the data is living in one of these cloud places that charges a certain rate, and the copyright holder looks at the cost of hosting their content at this provider, and then they make a charge back to your subscriber, and that's it. But what's happened in the last 3 years? BitTorrent has gone back up because people are sick of having to pay fucking $12 a month to Hulu, Netflix, fucking Spotify. There's all these fucking bullshit content gateways. So there's a war that's going on with copyright, with content delivery. And it's not settled, and there's going to be a big, nasty, awful valley coming in the next 2 years where all these content owners want to, isolate their profit stream to the content that they have copyright over.
Do you feel like, who's going to come out on top of that, where you think?
Well, Spotify's kind of fucked. Their app sucks.
Agreed.
It's terrible. We posted a piece about how much it sucks recently. It's terrible.
Yeah, you got the premium update. Yeah, I got that too. It's fucking horrendous. And the pushing the playlist and all the bullshit, blah blah blah.
The playlist ridiculous.
I tried to fucking.
It is.
I tried to register my own music that I own and made with Spotify, and they're like, "I'm sorry, we can't verify you." I was like, "Why?" Well, you don't have a Twitter or Instagram account.
What?
It's like, well, I don't want to use Twitter or Instagram. What the fuck are you talking about? Here's what you should do. Go to the fucking Library of Congress and look at the fucking copyright on my music. It's fucking there. You still won't validate me as a creator to use the Spotify Creators app? Are you out of your fucking mind? And, of course, it's some, fucking email inbox. Nobody... It's all front running, right?
Yeah.
It's all front running. Whatever's working, they're making deals with the people that are working.
Right.
People that are nobodies like me, they don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about whether or not you fit. They don't fucking care. You don't have an Instagram account I can reference against your claim of ownership over this artist in Spotify? Well, you're fucked. You don't get to, use the Spotify Creators app and see how many people are listening to your music and from where.
That is so bizarre. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
What are there any apps or anything like that do offer that though, or that do offer a good creator friendly thing that's not gonna just fuck them over and not let them register and all that, or is it all just a giant wasteland of just fuckery and
social media?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. So the bottom line is going to be Spotify has tens of millions of captive listeners, right? And if you want access to that, you got to prove X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
Bandcamp doesn't give a shit. You can upload whatever, and it's on you to promote that shit. It's on you to make yourself famous, right?
Yeah.
That's the divide, really. The divide is like, are you trying to get access to our fucking massive infrastructure and captive audience, or are you know? Yeah. So this is just it's like I said at the top. It's the same shit that's been going on forever. You got indies who can't prove that they have an audience, and you got majors who will make an audience. They'll just make it happen. Post Malone, baby.
Just do what Luke O'Neill did, write an article about it. How you can't get your song registered.
Yeah.
But,
You don't want to talk to me about Luke O'Neill.
Never mind. But,
Luke used to be the singer in a really bad emo band in Boston.
He still
called
is.
The Good North when I was in my 20s, and I was in another band that was his kind of competing band. Yeah, I got some good history with that guy.
Oh, man.
I won't go into it.
No, of course, yeah.
But, whatever. He's grown up. I saw the article he wrote about Gavin and how he nakedly admitted to thinking Gavin McInnes was cool because he grew up reading Do's and Don'ts and thought he was the coolest guy in the world.
I didn't read that article.
I got a lot of... I got to say, after years and years of giving that guy shit, I have a lot of respect for him for writing that article and being like, I was a total fucking Vice fanboy and I was wrong. So, you know.
Right.
But I wrote an article that years and years ago that pointed out the fact that I uploaded all of my music into Spotify and then deleted the credit card that would have been charged for having that on Spotify. And it's never been removed from Spotify.
Uh-oh.
It's still there. I'm not paying for it to be there, but it's still there. They will never take anything out because their business is providing everything.
Is that article on Medium or?
Yeah, it's on Medium. I think it's still on Medium. I think it's one of the ones I put up there. But I uploaded all my own music and all the records I ever put out into Spotify. I paid like $175 to some bullshit web form scammer fucking company. I think they're called Ditto Music or something. They were based out of England. And then I deleted my credit card information and my account from that company's website. And all of the shit I uploaded has been there for 6 years without me paying anything. Because they'll never take anything out. That's the inverse of their business model.
You seem to have a lot of like thoughts on all this, and I think I talked to you about it on DM, but I don't really remember what you said. But like, have you ever thought about going back to like just writing on Medium or just like making some sort of like content, like the videos or whatever? Have you ever considered going back and just doing that, even not regularly, just at maybe like part time or something in between doing, just life?
No, I mean, my whole play right now is like getting enough money to do something from the top down.
Mm-hmm.
I got to an age where like the bottom up thing was like embarrassing to me.
Right.
And so I've had a number of different ideas about things you could do, whatever, but the numbers just get bigger and bigger and more daunting. And I have kids I have to support, and it just, the older you get, the less and less worth it, the idea of like fucking with people becomes.
Mm-hmm.
So are you guys, are you familiar with Boot Boys?
No, I'm not.
So Boot Boys is like a bootleg, it's like Supreme, like if Supreme actually did good shit.
All right.
So they do like these incredibly illegal clothing bursts every month where they put out like sweatshirts and hats and shit that are totally fucking copyright infringement, stuff. And
right.
And I think, like you think about like Etsy and whatever, it's like if you do good enough shit, your name gets out there and you become like a guarantor of quality.
Yeah.
That's That's the sweet spot. The sweet spot is like you're legit and sharp and doing shit that's like funny and fucked up, and you kind of ride that wave. And they're in Chicago, I think, and that they're riding that wave. They have their email list, and they charge a lot of money, relatively, for the quality of the clothes they put out. But the clothes they put out are like brazen fucking copyright ripoffs, and it's brilliant. And that's
what kind of like copywritten stuff?
Sorry?
What type of like copywritten stuff is it?
They'll like take the cover of like a fucking rave compilation CD and silkscreen it on a sweatshirt and like the just weird shit. Like, and they try and do it in a really like heavy way intellectually. They try and like bust up the easy shit. Like, it'd be really easy to reference fucking Bjork or something. They do like darker collisions of art and philosophy. So,
word.
Lewis is just stepping out for a little. He'll be back.
We're gonna blaze. What's up?
I don't think so. He has to sign someone in. If you don't mind, I have a question I wanted to ask about. I was thinking about going back to like artists and kind of like subverting their labels, like kind of like what Death Grips and Frank Ocean have done. What do you kind of think about that?
Death Grips has been opposed from day one. I have no respect for them at all. Those guys were old enough to know exactly what they were doing. And it just, I don't care. Good for them. Fine. But like, no, I wasn't impressed by it at all. I mean, Zach is technically, I've been a drummer my whole life, and I can't play anything Zach Hill can play. I can't even play a measure. I can barely play Absorb Those Numbers, the Marnie Stern song.
Oh, yeah.
He plays on. So there's legitimate genius there in a way. Like,
yeah, like technical aspect, what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Herb from Primus was like, I don't even know what the fuck with this guy. Zach Hill was like Jimi Hendrix for a drummer. It was just like, you saw him and you heard him and you were like, no, it's over. I can't do that. And that's great, but their whole like great rock and roll swindle bullshit, I didn't have any time for that. I just didn't think the music was any good.
Oh, okay.
And I hated the fact that they were pimping like the Moo Kids and 4chan and just I don't know, man. Like those kind of dares, like music. We were talking before about how Better Now is like a legit Beatles song. It's like basic 4/4. It hits you. You can't get it out of your head. Like that's victory. That's how you win at pop music, is writing something that people can't resist. Everything Death Grips did was like a dare. Ooh, can you deal with this, man? I hate that shit. I've hated it from day one. That's like the pop group, this band I've railed against from day one. Early 80s in England. I hate dares. I hate all that fucking Einsters and Neubauten fucking screaming samples of pigs being slaughtered, all that wow, that's amazing, man. You really shocked me. I have no time for that shit. Like, you win by winning. You win by convincing people through whatever it is. Movies, whatever, music, like pop music. Like, if you make something that seduces people, Death Grips have never seduced anyone musically. They've seduced people intellectually, and that bores the ass off me. It's so fucking basic. It's just people who are in that headspace who are 24 and just the whole world is buzzing in their head, and I can decode this. I get this. Oh, this song's actually a huge. It sounds like it's about Tupac, but it's actually about King Edward III of England, and it's this really myopic, crazy adventure you have to go on intellectually to understand all the. I just don't have the fucking time. Fuck that shit. I hate that.
Well, yo, I'm back. Sorry, I had to step out for a second.
You stoned? Did you fucking blaze up? Fucking one hitter? Dropping a one hitter?
Smoking by the dumpster.
They wanted an ID.
No, we had an RA issue. I had to do with some RA people.
You had an RA? Oh my god.
I had to get signed in.
That's awesome. Did they confiscate your fucking ID badge?
No, it was just some dude who looks kind of like China Mac who came in and he was like... we had to go kill a camera on.
Hold on. Let me fucking turn my video on so you guys can see me now.
Oh, word.
Got you.
For fucking ever. Let me see. Oh, wait. But the Mac, the fucking laptop I'm using is so old. It's going to look so bad.
It's all good, man. I care more about audio. What's up? This is Lewis.
This is the Teen People sweatshirt they made to look like the New York Silverfish sweatshirt.
Where'd you get that from?
I have 9 of these. I worked at People.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What'd you do there?
I have shitloads. This is when Lori Majewski, who's like Moby's best friend, was the EIC of Teen People, and what are they called? Ashley Simpson and Jessica Simpson.
Yeah.
So they weren't famous yet, and their dad used to come to the fucking magazine every fucking day and walk the halls and try and hype his fucking daughters at Teen People. It was great.
That's actually really funny.
Ashley was it was the most tragic fucking thing. I feel like, dude, Ashley, I have so much, Ashley Simpson is, like, someone I have so much sympathy for versus, like, Frankie Cosmos. Like, that's a good counter to who's legit and who's not. Like, Ashley Simpson was legit some kid whose dad was, like, pimping her out. And then Frankie Cosmos is, like, some rich kid who's like, I want to be taken seriously.
Frankie Cosmos. Do you feel that way about like Snail Mail and like Mitski and a lot of these other like artists?
Mitski's the same story. Like she won't tell anybody how much money she comes from. Like nobody can know that.
Or
her dad, like, oh my god. But you know what, man? Look, Joe Strummer, basically the same backstory as Mitski.
Oh,
dad was a diplomat, made shitloads of fucking money. Like people think the Clash is so fucking legit because of some stories that have been retold, but like you go back and like people always thought the Police were so cheesy and Stuart Copeland and whatever because their dad like ran the CIA for most of Europe, but it's the same shit.
That's something I do want to actually ask you about. This is something we talked about on the Ezra Marcus podcast. It was him and our music editor Sarah. They were talking about the idea of like DIY. What does it really mean? Does it is DIY the new?
People have been saying that since 1990. I mean, I remember we've been talking about that since fucking Sebadoh fucking came out, man. Lou Barlow, is he really DIY? He lives in Northampton.
And do we focus on it too much? Really, does it even really matter? Is the thing is what we kind of talked about.
Are you fucking kidding me? We've always have DIY, Black Flag, back to the 80s, like fucking dude. When I was growing up with fucking hardcore, like I was listening to fucking like Volcano Sons and like middle of the road 4/4 shit, and like everyone was like, well, you know, there was also straight edge, you know, at that time, and it just the rules have always been a thing, whether it's DIY or straight edge or what the fuck ever, like rules and scene. That shit to me is like, I want you to die. I want you to die. If you have rules, I want you to die.
I agree.
No word. Like when you make
if you want to make sure that the club you're playing in is a safe space, I want you to die. Because my whole thing is figure shit out. Figure it out. Figure it out yourself. Like life isn't coming at you trying to fucking murder you. Like look, this is fucking bad territory. There are bad people. There are narcissistic personality disorder, fucking egotist, misogynist assholes in the world.
No, of course.
There are people who don't get it. Like, you make a pass at them, and you're not into it.
Mm-hmm.
That person should get the fuck out of there and be embarrassed.
Of course.
I've always been that way in my life. And everyone I've ever fucking associated with has been that way my whole life. But for someone like me, reality is most people aren't like that, or a lot of people aren't like that, and there's a lot of people with really horrific fucking stories of shit that didn't go the way that me or my friends or the people I would associate with You know, like fucking. There's really bad shit, like what's brand new, right?
Yeah.
Then there's like vaguely bad shit, like Pine Grove.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
My whole life, I never got near anybody like that you could ask a question about.
Right.
And if that question was asked, that person got fucking they either got stomped the fuck out or froze out. And what are you going to do? You're going to stick up for that? You can't. This reckoning needs to fucking happen. And it's happening. It's great. Good. It's not a time or a place to interject anecdotes or celebrate the fact that you never took it that far or whatever.
Right.
I've had things happen, you know, with me that, you know, were interpreted in ways that I, you know, didn't appreciate or recognize, let's say. Appreciate's a bad word. And then, you know, come around the other way and it's like, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, you made me feel like shit, whatever, this happened. And I'm like, well, that all happened over Twitter. And then I'm like, okay, I guess I shouldn't use Twitter or talk like that. And so, like, everybody gets lessons at different grades, right? But it became, like, in the last 3 years, it became, like, a really binary thing in a way that just fucked dialogue up. Bad. But it needed, like I said, it needed to happen. Right. For the people who are caught in the blurry middle ground, fuck it. You're stuck there. Deal with it. You know, the benefit is greater than your discomfort.
Right.
You're uncomfortable about how you've been characterized. Tough shit. You know, I bought that. I fucking bought a ticket to being mischaracterized. For sending rude tweets.
Yeah.
Okay. The fact is, so much worse shit happened, and happened in real ways.
Yeah, not online.
So, you know, it's just crazy. And I got those stories from lots of girls. Girls and women, you know, excuse me. But when I say girls, I'm talking about, like, you know, mid-20s. I should say women. That's probably offensive. But when that whole thing blew up, I got lots of stories from lots of different age ranges. And it was like, oh, you know, you are suffering from the arrogance of not being that bad. You're not that bad. Great. What do you can't fucking, I'm going to get a trophy for not being that bad.
Right.
There were just way too many people who were that bad. And, you know, that's fucked and that sucks. But
the outcome is greater than, like, the, you know.
Yeah, no, exactly. But it becomes this thing of, like, you got to find your own failures.
Right.
Your own lazy behaviors that were maybe inherited or granted to you, you know, white, cis, male, relatively attractive.
Acknowledging privilege.
You know, I know for me, like, I know where I'm at. I know what I've done. But like I said, the point is, it's like, then step aside. If you're not that bad, then get the fuck out of the way, because there's a lot of people that are that bad. And there's a reckoning that's needed to happen. And, you know, you saw it this week. Sarah Silverman. She gave this interview where she's like, oh, man, when we were kids, Louis would be like, can I beat off for you? And she was like, yeah, fuck yeah. And then sometimes I was like, nah, I'm not into it. And he wouldn't. And we'd go get pizza. You can't. Like, this is a guy who, you know, is worth like fucking hundreds of millions of dollars still doing that shit. It's one thing when you're Sarah Silverman and Louis C.K. and you're in Boston and New York working fucking shit clubs and you're all fucking around together and you're a peer, right?
Right.
You stop being a peer. I, in a very, very small, tiny little way, had, you know, a reckoning with that, where it was like, some of these people that are talking to me think I'm like a big deal. That's fucked. You don't think that. Because I didn't make any fucking money out of the shit I did. I wasn't like on TV. I was nobody. I'm just fucking some crank asshole, right? Mm-hmm. But then like people who are like 5, 6 years, 7 years younger than you, they're like, oh, I read your shit, and you're like a god to me. And you're like, yeah. What? Like, I thought we were, like, it's fucking weird, man. But you know what? I think I existed in a vacuum where there were people like me and Brent DiCrescenzo and lots of other names who were a new voice, right? And we had like fans, right? Not in the egotistical way, just there were people
like
who liked what we were doing.
Yeah.
And when you don't get anything out of that, how is there an impulse for you to change your behavior toward anybody? If somebody comes up to you and is like, I'm into you and I love your writing, you're like, oh, great. But that person's like in their headspace. It's like you're like famous, like or like some huge fucking deal, and you're like, by what measure am I a huge deal? Like a bunch of people fucking clicked on my shit on the internet. I'm not a huge deal, whatever. But you don't know that, and you don't learn that. You don't get a fucking handbook that's like, oh, you're at this level now. And there's a bunch of people who think you're a fucking big deal. And that psychological interaction is something you need to respect and be careful of. I wasn't careful of that. I wasn't. I definitely wasn't. During my early 30s, like 10 years ago, no, I wasn't. And that's it's good stuff. It's good to learn it. And to say it to you guys, and gals, that you don't get a fucking letter in the mail that tells you got people who are looking at you like something other than what you think you are. So yeah, fucked up lessons. It's weird though, because in the early days I was like, fuck yeah, I'm awesome. We're huge. We're the biggest shit in the world. We loved it. We all did. All of us, man. And they were all looking at me because I'm the big asshole. I'm the guy who'll stand up in the middle of the fucking L car and be like, hey, what's up, girls? You look like you read Pitchfork. And then they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, what's up? All four of us run fucking Pitchfork. What's up? We're going to the fucking CMJ tonight. What are you doing? And then they start laughing and they're like, my boyfriend wants to kick your ass. And I'm like, what are you, for what? You trashed a piebald record. I'm like, okay, well, I'm right here. He wants to kick my ass. Let's fucking go. And like, I have this whole, like anybody my age, I'm not Gen X, but I'm 40s, whatever. And it's like fucking punk rock. Let's blow it up. Let's make it bigger and bigger and bigger. But like everyone else around me was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. And I'm like, no, fuck it. Let's go. Like, let's get him. It's all these mixed messages of ego, celebration of individuals. It's not a male thing. St. Vincent is like fucking standing on some fucking crystal throne like she's a goddess. It happens everywhere. But full circle, the social media thing's made it very different. And when I was active, there was no kind of controlling social media. And it's just made it impossible now. Because I was able to fuck up. Mm-hmm. Nobody can fuck up now. You can't.
Do you feel like, when you drop that video,
I don't drop anything. Please don't say the fucking word drop.
I'm sorry. My bad.
We already talked about Supreme.
Yeah, word. When you posted that video, this is Boston, not BK, and all the stuff, that happened.
That was a bad one. That was a bad one. Look, so that's the only video I regret.
Really? Really?
Oh yeah, hugely. So that was the peak of my narcissism, not understanding your kind of footprint and all that. Look, I mean, obviously there's going to be bitterness for me.
Right, of course.
I burned a lot of fucking oil, midnight oil, helping make Pitchfork big. And there's no fucking denying that my writing was part of what made Pitchfork big.
Right.
Pre 2005-06. You know, and this is like 12 fucking years ago. So when WME and Mark Geiger and all these, when the money started coming in, I didn't own a piece of Pitchfork. Only two people did. And I knew, like, I'm fucked. Like, if this gets sold, I'm not getting any of this fucking money. This guy's freezing me out.
Was there a point where you could have?
Yeah.
Not unless Ryan decided.
Oh, okay.
Well, I have one.
Unless the guy who started Pitchfork, unless he decided, and he would never, because I'm a fucking loose cannon. He's like, this guy's fucking crazy. He thought I was like a cokehead, like, because I was so fucking nuts.
Wait, I have a question. Wait, two actually. One, what was your? You were a contributor and editor there too, like at Pitchfork, right? That was your like role, kind of contributor, just an editor.
So.
And also, have you ever met like any of these people in real life too, like Mark? Like, of
course.
All right.
Oh no, I've never met Mark Richardson, skin on skin. No,
or,
no, but like so
Ryan.
we were all on the web and it was all anonymous and like we had dial-up modems, man, when this was all going on. But like '98, I hooked up with Ryan and Brent and like what's the other guy? Nick Mirov was around.
Right.
The net was just like a thing. It was like, go to South by and everybody will be there. Ben Brown will be there. And fucking, he's dead. Like, it's fucked. Like, nobody will ever remember any of this shit. And you couldn't even construct a narrative that would make it make sense. Like, it wasn't just music. Like, graphic designers, writers, music, there was such a coalescence. Like, it's so fucking hard to describe to people who've grown up with real, like, printed out, done, sign in, social media, the world, right? You had to like write your own HTML and shit. It's impossible. You'll never understand it. I don't blame you, but like it was fucking wild, wild west. And so yeah, Pitchfork was doing well, pitchforkmedia.com. And he had like a million other sites. Buddyhead was way bigger than Pitchfork back then.
Buddyhead, Travis.
Yeah, Travis Keller. Yeah, he. You think I feel guilty? Oh, this whole like last 15 minutes of me being like, I wasn't the best person I could have been. Yeah, call Travis. But yeah, there was a lot of shit going on. So like there was this gap between 98-ish to 01.
Right.
And then I wrote this review where I fucking savaged
Shiner.
this band. And because I wrote this really brutal review, they were like, we're not giving you free CDs anymore. And I was like, well, I got to fire you. I was like, you fucking what? Are you fucking kidding me? You're going to fucking, you don't even pay me. You're going to fire me because some fucking record label said they're not going to give you fucking free CDs anymore? Fuck you. I'm going to burn your ass to the fucking ground. It was this whole big thing. And then like 6 months later, he came back around and was like, look, dude, I was wrong. You know, I believe in writing. I believe in, you know, free, you know, criticism. We should, you know, come back. And then when I came back, he was like a total wasteoid. I mean, he wasn't paying attention to anything. So I ended up like editing all of the shit for like 3 years. So it's like very, very late 98 to late 90. No, it's right before Kid A came out. Is when I got dumped. And then like the message board shit. But then you know, so whatever. Then I was like, dude, he's like, look, I was totally wrong. Blah, blah. Right. So I came back and then it was like, oh shit, you know, Chris actually knows shit about shit. Like, you know how to do a business. So I came back and then it was like hardcore through 2004-05. And then, yeah, I decided, like, you're not going to make me on the masthead of the LLC, and you're not going to make me a part of this corporation. Fuck you. And I did some shit that really fucked them up bad. At CMJ, I leaked all kinds of personal information. It was just like, fuck you.
Oh.
And so that's like 13 years ago, man.
Right.
But then then I was like, oh well, I'm gonna find this other magazine, and I worked with a guy and rebooted Perfect Sound Forever, and like got that written up because I was working, like I said, at People, so I had like fucking shitloads of media connections.
What were you doing at People at the time?
Huh?
Just quickly, what were you doing at People? Were you like right, or if you don't have to answer that question? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like overstep. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay.
All the money I've made in my life, I've made out of being a technology person.
Oh, okay.
I haven't made it out of music writing. Although, I've made about 20 grand out of the Joy Division book, but it's because it says Joy Division on the cover. It has nothing to fucking do with me. Yeah, so I was working in IT at People, and then they found out that I was one of the people who was running Pitchfork, and they were like, what the fuck? And I actually got a review of Interpol run in Teen People when it came out, Turn on the Bright Lights, under the Pitchfork pseudonym Ray Suzuki.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I reviewed Turn on the Bright Lights in Teen People as Ray Suzuki.
Ray Suzuki?
You can't undo that. It happened.
Can we find this? Was it...
I still have two. Ashley Simpson is on the fucking cover of that issue.
Did no one question that Ray Suzuki was dead at that point?
No, I set it up with the music editor at People. Like,
I know, but I thought you didn't you say on the Fantano when you killed Ray Suzuki off after
Oh no, that was Ryan was something happened to him involving substances that prevented him from completing the website. Okay. And so we didn't have the site ready to go, and I was like, well, we should just say Ray Suzuki died and just make the site black and say Ray Suzuki rip, and then we don't have to publish anything today. Like literally a one-day Band-Aid. That was my suggestion. It was like, well, let's just say Ray Suzuki died. There were other pen names, whatever. Anyway, yeah, look, I mean, this is dragging the fuck on, but it is interesting in the sense that, like, I had access to, like, actual celebrity while I was writing for Pitchfork when it was, like, a fucking nothing indie thing. Like, Ashley Simpson, 2 weeks before SNL, I'm, like, hanging out with her in fucking Teen People. The ultimate weirdest thing about it is none of the people at Pitchfork knew this. I didn't tell them. None of them knew where I actually worked. So I was like slamming in fucking New York. We started talking about that book, Meet Me in the Bathroom. Like, I was like at all that shit. And it's just, it's all fucking retconning. Like, they talk about these things like they were normal. Like, oh, we were all at X and we all did this and we went there and no. It's like once a month, and they want to sell it like it was like this scene or whatever.
This rent Jonathan Larson kind of like world.
Is that like similar to the 285 Kent thing?
Yeah.
So that was why I made that video.
Oh, okay.
Because I was so angry because five of my friends from college bought a warehouse space in Kent Ave, 2 doors down from that in 1997. They signed a 5-year lease on a commercial space on Kent Ave. I think it was one something. They had to like build their own beds. Like, it didn't have hot water.
Right.
Like that whole area was legitimately fucked up. Like I told you, it was Polish mafia, it was cokies, bad fucking awful stepped on coke. Like the coke you could get in Alphabet City, like Terminator or Rambo. That coke was like maybe 80% at best if you knew the dealer. If you went out to fucking Greenpoint, that shit was stepped on 35% minimum. The shit in cokies, oh my god. That's why the reason people remember it is because it took them 6 fucking hours to get high because they were snorting fucking baby powder.
Oh my god.
Like, the cokies didn't have real... It was a bad sub-nothing cartel that had no connections. Like, the only half-decent shit you could get was, like, way the fuck down in Alphabet City. Anyway, look, I I don't romanticize this stuff is my point.
Right.
It's not cool.
Yeah.
It's not cool that David Cross lived there and fucking, did a bunch of fucking bullshit, fucking stepped on coke with Paul Banks, who's the biggest fucking rich kid, fucking thumb-sucking bitch ever. I want that fucking guy to die in a fucking plane wreck. He is the biggest fucking cunt I have ever met in my life.
Wait, who's Paul Banks?
He's from Interpol.
Lead singer of Interpol.
Oh,
I want one of his moles to gain intelligence and eat him alive.
I still want to see that Teen People review so
I
bad.
got him. Yeah, dude.
It's upstairs, whatever. But you know what the thing is? Like, Paul Banks was a little fucking thumb-sucking rich bitch.
Mm-hmm.
So were the guys in the Strokes, but they were fucking cool.
Right.
Like, we used to go to fucking Union Pool in, like, 97, 98.
Yeah.
Those dudes would be there, and you'd see Julian Casablancas, and you'd be like, I lost at life. He won. He wasn't even in a band yet. And you're like, he won. He wins. Like, he's like 6'2", 3", totally fucking gorgeous.
Right.
You're trying to talk to a girl, and she's just like, looking at him. She's not looking at you at all. Like, those guys were closers, man. They were all totally fucking gorgeous. Look at them. Like, look at the Strokes.
Looking.
They're a fucking boy band. Duh. And they had all the money in the world. And I don't begrudge them that at all. They were the best band at the best time that could have done what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I love them for that. But I equally hate Interpol for being such a fucking nothing shit band with 3 songs who wrote the worst fucking lyrics in the history of fucking pop music.
I haven't heard Interpol in a while.
Good.
I'm.
You know what you should listen to? Fucking Lisa Stansfield. That's the shit right there.
Really?
On cassette, 1990.
Oh, can I find it anywhere?
Probably not. This is actually a tape I bought in 1990. Anyway, whatever. Look,
Right.
dude.
Mhm.
I mean, what do you want from like an old dad? Like what? I'm telling old stories. It's boring as shit.
No, this is...
Like, dude, I'm not like somebody who. Look, there are people my age who are moving to LA right now to try and get a shot at being a music supervisor because they have no fucking skills in life.
Besides, like, music writing or, like, analyzation.
Right. I'm in the basement of a house that I built. I
Really?
paid to build this house because I do things that people will pay you to do. I'm also probably a bigger music geek than any of those fucking people moving to LA, and I know more about music than most of them. I don't begrudge them that.
No, right.
I'm not going on the internet. I'm not trying to stick my fucking nose in shit. But, like, I'm happy to talk to fucking younger kids who are curious because...
Yeah, you answered our question, basically.
No,
We're, like,
yeah.
big into music like that, and I don't know.
No, yeah.
You summed it up.
Well, I hear that it's not just you guys.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like fucking Stony Brook calling me.
No.
No, yeah.
These young kids are like, you're the only fucking person who's honest.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah, I am honest because I don't give a shit. I don't need to. I do things that allow me to live my life and enjoy music and have all these fucking, CDs and fucking vinyl and videotapes and VHS. I have all that shit.
Mhm.
No, right.
Like, because I wanted it and I wanted to find a way to get it. Writing about music is not a way to get anywhere.
You need a
in
day
life.
job. You need a 9 to 5.
This is why Pitchfork blew up.
Right.
I was railing at these guys. Don't fucking try to get paid for this.
Mhm.
Get a fucking job and we'll own cool forever.
Mm-hmm.
If you make your own money, you can say whatever the fuck you want. The second you try to get paid for what you say, you can't say it anymore. That's how it works. They just never got it. I was like 26 years old saying this to people. Your word is the only thing you can control. We have a way to control it.
Mm-hmm.
Just get a fucking job. Stop talking about how much money Merge is paying you for ads or how fucking Heineken wants to run the banner on Pitchfork. That's not something to be excited about. What's exciting is they want to. So tell them no and pay your own fucking way. And then you can be happy forever. I did a podcast with John Danielle, the Mountain Goats.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty ridiculous get, considering that I'm some fucking guy in a basement.
Yeah.
John Danielle, like, coming off of being on the Stephen Colbert Show, well, I'm going to call Chris Ott on a Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and have coffee with him. Yeah, ridiculous. And it was so fucking intimidating because he knows everybody. He lived it. Right. I didn't live it. Fuck that. I was in a bunch of bullshit bands. Fine, whatever. I know all the fucking, tapes, record labels, and all that. That's knowledge. Mm-hmm. That guy actually lived it. So that was really intimidating. And when I talked to him about Pitchfork, he was like, what you wanted to do is the thing you can never do. Because the second you try and control it, it changes. And he was ultimately right, So what I wanted to do, literally every person I said that to was like, you're fucking crazy.
For someone who want to get into, who wants to just, talk about music, would you say the best way to do it now is just do it independently and make your own thing and just kind of, just do it like that? Kind of do what a Fantano...
Make your own cool.
Yeah, make your own cool, do what a...
Fantano, look...
Not in a monetary way, but just, passion or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it. Look at... oh, God damn it. What's the kid's name? The British kid, the English kid.
Oh, Deep Cuts? Is that
Deep
him?
Cuts, yeah.
Deep Cuts.
I don't know his actual name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deep Cuts, whatever. I was so offended by how badly he imitated me. And when I talked to Moo, they were like, yeah, he told us he wouldn't talk about you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, wow.
He was just one of my fanboys. Fuck him. He's one of my fanboys. Know what you are. Just admit what you fucking are. Mm-hmm. I was really fucking good at this. But I have kids, and I don't want to be on fucking YouTube. I banged out, 28 fucking videos. Unfortunately, a bunch of opinion psychos downloaded them, and they're still fucking on YouTube, even though I've deleted every fucking presence I have on Google. So you can still fucking Google Shallow Rewards and watch all my videos. Mm-hmm. But I wish you couldn't, because I have coming up on teenage kids. And I'm not necessarily psyched on them seeing those.
Yeah.
No.
But whatever, I've accepted it. You can't control it. I talked to them about it. But yeah, Deep Cuts is... Look, it's not arrogance, because I'm not still trying to do it. Mm-hmm. If I wanted to, I could. I've even actually lost weight, so I do it better now. But look, not that many people were as good at it as I was.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to Fantano about it. I talked to a bunch of people about it. Some people are good on camera. Some people aren't. Most people are not. I was really fucking good on camera. That's why those videos did well. But I didn't give a shit. I said what I wanted to say, and then I got older, and I matured, and my concern over whether or not I said what I wanted to say faded away, and I fucking deleted them. And then they showed up on, all of a sudden, people I put up a torrent of them because people were asking for 1080p copies of them, which I couldn't do on YouTube at that time. This is 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. It's 2012. No, God, Jesus. It's more than that. But anyway, look, the fact is, literally nothing in those videos is scripted. I set up a camera. It's right there. Mm-hmm. It has a 20-minute memory on the battery. I did 20 minutes, downloaded it to the laptop, refreshed it, did another 20 minutes, edited it together. Maybe I got 18 minutes out of that. Rambling. Just total fucking rambling. iMovie, fucking Mac laptop, nothing. I didn't fucking Wikipedia shit. It's just all shit that came out of me. Mm-hmm. That's why it worked. That's why people were like, holy shit, this is what the fuck. I've been looking for a fucking shoegaze video my whole life.
Yeah.
That explains what this felt like.
That's a good point.
And, I really don't give a shit that those numbers and all that. I just don't fucking care. The whole point for me is do what you do in your own terms. That was my point with Pitchfork, and I tried to impress it on everybody I worked with at the site at that time. Do what you want to do the way you want to do it. And if you do that, if like 6 people see it, you're gonna feel great.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to like latch on to bullshit like Jeremy Larson just did,
Mm-hmm.
fucking fake ass pseudo, like the phony fucking indignation over a band this guy's literally never fucking listened to. He's never listened to them. He knows they don't matter.
They don't.
And yet he's gonna fucking, drum up this bullshit fucking basic softball slam on a fucking band that's like already made $80 fucking million. That's real brave, dude. You killed it.
And it's not like the band probably cares even.
Yeah, they're going to be weeping over the article.
Yeah, Jeremy Larson.
Go write a really shitty write-up of Kanye West. He's going to be up all night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, word. It's like, it's more so just, I think, the, like, kind of presentation as to, like, oh, yeah, bro. But
the thing that kills me is, like, he doesn't even care. He's not invested in that.
No.
It was all agreed upon. It was all talked about in the editor's room. It's just like the idea of an edit meeting.
Those exist?
Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm coming from Pitchfork where we're emailing each other shit. Nobody has fucking any clue what anyone else is doing. It's like, oh, it's good enough, whatever, blah, blah, blah. These people are now sitting in edit meetings for hours, poring over. What should our position be on this release?
Really?
It's Condé Nast, dude.
Oh, I mean, you're right. I mean,
they spend hours poring over everything they publish. At least like 3 people, if not a broader audience, when they diverge from like the accepted, predictable sort of reception.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason this Jeremy Larson review blew up is because for years people have been complaining about the fact that Pitchfork is so fucking milquetoast. And they give everything a fucking 7.2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then half the time the review doesn't match your number.
10 years ago. 10 fucking years ago. I started a thread on Opinion called Pitchfork Tranches. It has like 150 pages now.
Oh.
And it's about the fact that you have a conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
And so you won't trash a band.
Right.
You'll just give them a middling review and it will disappear and no one will get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck, dude? This whole thing is a dialogue, a rhetoric of hurting people. Like, music, every review that you read should either be a 10.0 or a fucking 0. If you don't feel that way about the record, why the fuck would you even fucking review it? That's been my attitude the whole time. Like, shades, sure. Like, this is like getting there. 8.6, okay. Whatever. But, like, do you need anything below a 5.0 that isn't a 0? No. It's fucking stupid. It's just such a fucking waste of time. I get sick thinking about, like, people. I don't know what you guys want to do. I don't know what you think is available to you.
All right. I mean,
like, what are you doing this for? Why do you care?
I mean, for me, after this, I was going to just get, like, a day job doing, like, probably copywriting or something and just, like, blog or something. I have a Medium I was going to write on a lot, but other than that, I'm just kind of freelancing for these, like, smaller indie blogs that I just kind of do it for free, kind of.
So, like, I'll tell you a good story.
Oh.
God, when was this? 2014? I don't know how many years ago it was. 4 or 5 years ago, I went down to do an honorarium at NYU, Galton, and Amanda Petrosic was the instructor. And in that room was Maria Sherman, Gabrielle, what's her name? Tully Claymore or something.
Maybe.
There were like 4 writers that are now, like, I think Maria Sherman is like a senior whatever at Jezebel or something.
Right.
And they were like kids in college coming to hear me speak about whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen? You really think someone's going to pay you a living wage for your opinion? No. They're going to pay you to write what they want to be written about something that is being advertised in their magazine. That's how it fucking works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yet, 3 of like the 10 or 12 kids in that class that I spoke to are doing it now.
No word. I mean, I gave up on the idea of like really doing this for like money, like not like gave up on it, but you know, I'm not as like, oh, I need to like get in like, you know, this big giant plays. I'm kind of more just like, I've always been more just into like just making stuff. I don't know. It's just whatever. Maybe it's just like this 20-something delusion or whatever. But I just like, even if it's not on like a major like thing, I've always kind of been more concerned with like putting something on some like even if it's my own site or whatever, just doing that kind of. I mean, you know, if I can get money for it, maybe. But like, I'm not really as like I'm not really as like, oh, I need to do this. Otherwise, what's the point? I mean, for me at least, I don't know. I'm just saying that's my personal ambitions. I don't know.
But that was all of our ambitions.
No, right.
When this all started before anybody believed in the internet, pre like 2007. We couldn't wait to get home and write on the internet. Mm-hmm. And we couldn't wait to share it with each other.
Oh, right.
And even when Twitter started in like 2008, we were like, this is fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It was about it being rewarding. It wasn't about it being financially rewarding.
No, exactly. That's me now, I mean.
That's how I feel about making music in this current.
Yeah, I just want to do it for my own reward.
Totally.
I just want to do for like the reward of like I'm doing this on my own terms. Like not that I'm trying to like, you know, but like, you know, I'm doing it on my own terms and kind of doing it for my own, just because I want to.
You're doing it on your own terms. And you're doing it for your own self-satisfaction, right?
Yeah, basically.
Does that die out if it doesn't get a response? And does the social media framework not make that likely to happen? Does it not make you feel worthless? That you don't have 381 retweets. Not
really. I mean, I don't know. I once wrote an article.
What's motivating you? What's going to continue to motivate you to do what you're doing that you believe in?
I just like art. I just love art, and I don't know. I just really like art and like culture, and I just want to share with some. Even if 5 people just like see it and like get turned on something, or just like look at that post. I'm sitting there like, okay, there's like 5 people who took the time to like look at that for me, to look at something I just like I made. And like, you know, like for example, last year I wrote an article on this band I just put on Medium, and it got like 2,000 views. And like that was amazing for me. That felt great that I got those views. I'm not like saying I don't care. You know, it was cool. But then I wrote not long after, I wrote an album review of Tyler, the Creator's latest album on Medium, and it got like it only has like a few, like not that many views. Last time I checked was like 70 something. But to me, like, even if, like, again, you mentioned social media, like I put my stuff on my Twitter and stuff, but even if it doesn't get like, it gets like swallowed by that whole like kind of void of just whatever content and comments and blah blah blah. For me, it's like someone is most likely going to see it, and if they do, that person took the time to look at it, to click on it and go through. Maybe they hated it, maybe they didn't. But for me, it's like I made this thing, and that's kind of I made this thing doing something I love, which is writing and talking about music and talking to these people and making and linking and building with these people. That's, you know, what the subjects, the audience, whatever, and that to me is what's really rewarding about it. Even beyond whether or not I make a dollar doing it is just icing at that point. I don't know. That might sound corny and just like whatever. I don't know, but that's just my thing.
No, it doesn't. I gotta tell you, it's very familiar to me because, you know, we did zines in the 90s. Like, It's the same impulse, right? You print like 200, 500, 600 copies of your Xerox zine.
Yeah.
And you hand them out at shows, and you're like, well, I took a dump. I took an intellectual dump that, you know, expressed who I am. I hear you there.
And I'm just saying this now, you know, who knows I'll be doing whatever, but like for now it's just what I want to do.
The reason I asked that, the reason I mention it is like the potential that's available is so fucking crazy, and it wasn't even available in the past, you know, to someone like me. And I think about how that potential is being squandered.
Yeah.
And drowned out by bullshit, and it just sucks because it's not like before I stopped doing all this shit. You know, you mentioned that videos I made, a couple of them that I was like really nasty about advertising and whatever. That's how it was then. It was really bad, and those people should have been ashamed for not thinking about the co-option of their voices by advertisers, right? But that ended really soon after that, and that's something I did not recognize and could not have predicted. So it made me look like a massive dick. But when I think about it now, it's so different because all the companies and the advertisers have realized the internet is complete bullshit, and they don't give a shit about it anymore. So it's a complete free-for-all. And I just wonder, like, okay, so you've got this potential, which infinite, essentially, potential to reach an audience. And for me, when I think about extrapolate what it would be like for me trying to do what I did now, I just feel like it'd be so much fucking downward pressure. It would just beat the fucking life out of me. Like, how can I continue to do this? How do I get it up? You know, it's kind of a gross phrase, but like, how do I continue to stay motivated and engaged? How do I continue to do this? Because I love this and I love these things and I want to express them and I want to share that with other people. But then it becomes like, well, this other guy, this other girl, this other person said sort of the same thing and they got like fucking 1 million times more attention than I did. What does that mean? Like, the fabric of social media totally fucking destroys self-confidence or whatever based on inhuman metrics of association. Because ultimately, anything you touch that is visible by anyone else via the internet is going to be algorithmically destroyed by things, metrics, measures, keywords, metadata that you don't even know about. You can fail, like you can write the best fucking article ever. No one's ever going to see it because the wrong or right person did or didn't retweet it. Like, that to me is fucking terrifying. And I have like friends who are still fighting this fight. Like, you know, Sean Collins, the Rolling Stone writer.
Yeah.
I did a bunch of podcasts with him. I fucking love him to death.
Really good writer. I've never met him, but like just from that angle.
But he's driving himself insane.
Oh.
Because he keeps fighting this fight. And like, I'm not the only person who's been like, dude, stop. Like, you know, but he just can't. It's who he is. And I respect that. It's not. I'm not saying that as a measure of disrespect or disagreement. Even, I totally get it. But at the same time, I'm like, how long can you just keep banging your fucking head against the wall, man? And I worry about, you know, that's talking to somebody who's essentially my peer, right? I think about the younger generation who's trying to find its voice. Where do you get the positive reinforcement? Where do you get the kudos? Like, what, so many shrimp retweets you? That's one thing, done.
Yeah.
Like, you know, or, you know, whatever it is. Somebody, it's so ephemeral. And I guess I make that point because even in the days of Xeroxed photocopied zines, you could actually get national. There are people who wanted to help you. And if you continue to put out like 4 or 5, 6 copies of a zine, by the time you get to your 6th copy, they're like, yeah, we'll put you in our catalog.
Oh, wow.
And they'll start advertising for you because just we're helping each other out. But that whole process has been totally fucking subsumed by social media. There's no Northeast show list. There's no fucking Maximum Rock and Roll fucking, what the fuck was the other one in the Midwest? Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I can't remember this right now. But anyway, God, it was MMR and Chuck. Oh, fuck. Anyway, you would have like, you know, you'd have central redistribution centers that would like order 100 copies of your zine, knowing they maybe sell 5.
Right.
But wanting to help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
that ingestion of the kind of the referendum. Like, you've done enough and been doing enough for long enough that we're going to bring you in to our distribution network.
Right.
Those checks and balances, they're all gone. It's all instantaneous. It's just flickers.
Right.
And that kills the sense of, like, self-identification as a commentator or curator or whatever you are. Whatever you're bringing to the dialogue, you know, it's getting increasingly impossible to develop a body of work. And that's what kills me. And I mentioned Sean like 3 seconds ago, right?
Yeah.
He writes for like 5 different fucking publications.
New York Times, I mean, even.
Yeah. But it doesn't help identify him as like the person who did all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Each individual piece he writes speaks to the audience of the publication who published it.
Right.
That's not the way this whole gig freelance economy is a fucking nightmare.
Oh no, it's a total like shit show. I mean, the freelance world, just constantly trying to like find identity. You're saying, kind of like amongst these like different places.
Robert Christgau was the Village Voice.
Right.
That's never gonna fucking happen again.
Village Voice is dead. I mean, now, but like.
Oh my god! Are you kidding me? They offered me his job.
Didn't you write? Yeah, you wrote that, right?
Yeah, I wrote the fucking 2000. So right after I blew up with Pitchfork, I went to talk to the Village Voice, and they're like, "Well, Robert Christgau's leaving or getting fired, and we need a music critic. Do you want to do it?" I was like, "Sure, I'll write you the fucking year-end, his signature fucking piece that's been written in this magazine since like fucking 1970 whatever." The first fucking year after he left, I wrote the year in pop.
Whoa.
I fucking wrote that. Me. Because I'm that fucking good. I am. Fuck you. I don't give a shit. Fuck you. I'm a great fucking writer. I'm sorry I don't write for you anymore. Kiss my ass. You don't deserve it. Fuck you. You're all a bunch of fucking idiots. Yeah, it's me. No, but I wrote it. It was fucking great. It was a great fucking piece. And nobody will ever fucking give me credit. Because I'm a dick. Okay. Doesn't matter. It's the reason you're fucking talking to me. People remember my shit. Nobody remembers anybody else's shit. Like, but, you know, I don't feel guilty about, you know, telling you to fuck off and stopping writing because I have other shit that I care about that's more important than you or fucking pop music or being as cool as Robert Christgau, who's like a fucking total douchebag.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, yeah, I walked in there and I was like, yeah, fucking whatever. You know, I'm Chris Ott, the guy that fucking made Pitchfork. But, you know, me and 3 other people. So you want a piece of that? Let's go. They fucking signed me up. Paid me X amount of money to write the fucking signature thing they've relied on. Their big hook. Their whole fucking publication. Robert Christgau's written it every fucking year. I wrote it. And then fucking 2 months later, they sponsored a fucking show by someone I mentioned earlier who, like, fucking managed the band that they were putting on their show. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? This is supposed to be the most independent publication in the fucking universe. It's the fucking Village Voice. Like, this fucking publication changed gay rights. It fucking, like, made Sun City Girls, fucking Sonic Youth, whatever the fuck, New York Cool, everything that's ever happened that you think is fucking righteous, this paper is like massively responsible for a lot of it. Like, straight up hip hop comes out a lot of the attention it got in this magazine, this newspaper. And I wrote this thing and it was like, I saw people reading it on the fucking train. It was great. And then they cross-promoted some fucking bullshit band that was, you know, friends of friends. And I was like, fuck you, I quit. And they were like, holy shit. I mean, it's sickening because I feel the same way in a naive way. I feel the same way about Pitchfork in the early days that somebody who had written for probably, you know, Village Voice in the heyday felt about that publication, that newspaper, because it ran the fucking table for 10 years. 86 to 96, the Village Voice was the fucking record of cool. And I don't mean music, I mean everything. for those 10 years, it was unassailable. It fell off in the late 90s, and that's why Vice became famous, because Vice essentially replaced the Village Voice. And I wanted to give the Village Voice its fucking balls back. And they wouldn't let me do it. So, it just, like I said, it goes around and fucking round and around. And I just feel bad for the people who don't get off the fucking escalator. Get off. It's never going to change, man.
Get out.
Get out.